Okay, we're going to change the oil today on the truck, and I want to just quick summarize all the stuff that you need. And you'll need at least 3. These are 5-quart containers of motor oil, and there's really a couple different visc grades. I typically use 15W40. Of course, it's formulated for the Power Stroke, and I've mentioned this in another video. One of the unique features of this particular truck is that it has hydraulically actuated fuel injectors, and the chemistry of this particular oil formulation is such that it minimizes aeration. And what do I mean by aeration? Think of the inside of your engine as like a big blender, and if you get any sort of trapped air in there, and of course it's trapped air inside the hydraulic fluid, and when that fluid moves through the fuel injector system, which are of course hydraulically operated, that air could cause your injectors not to work properly. Hence, it's just a good idea to use what I call the factory service fill oil. There are other brands of oil that work fine, but again, I'm just going to play it safe. I know that this stuff is fully formulated for this particular engine, and I'm going to just stay with it. Of course, I have the OEM recommended filter for this, FL 1995. This, of course, is a Ford 7.3 Power Stroke, and it's a 2003, last year that they actually produced this. And of course I have a wrench here, socket wrench. This is a 3/4 wrench on a 1/2-inch drive. And we're also going to go through and change on out the fluid inside the high pressure oil pump. And with that, you'll need a 1/2-inch deep well socket, as well as 3/16 hex head cap screw wrench. And that'll take out the plug up on the top there, so you can suck out the fluid and put some fresh fluid in. And in order to suck out the fluid, I've got a vacuum pump, a little reservoir here. Actually, if you do it a couple times, that's all you really need to do. You don't need to get anything sophisticated with this. And then lastly here, what do you drain the fluid into? Well, I've actually got this is a laundry bucket. It actually works quite well, being that this thing has practically 15 quarts of oil in it. You just can't use your typical oil drain pan to do this. You need to get something a little bit bigger, and the laundry tubs actually work quite well. And of course, you'll pour that into some sort of a container that you can take it down to the recycling center and be environmentally friendly. And I also have some toilet paper in here, and you may be wondering, why the heck do I have that in there? Well, on here I've actually have a bypass oil filtration system, and I'm going to actually go ahead and change that on out while I'm doing this. And it's actually the brand name of the oil bypass filtration system is called France, F-R-A-N-T-Z. And I actually have a video on that if you want to look up and find some more information on this. And so before I get started here, one of the things you'd like to do is you'd like to go ahead and make sure that the engine is hot. Get all the fluid, get all that junk and stuff dispersed in the engine, and then drain the fluid hot. And of course, you don't want it so hot that when you drain the plug, it's going to scald your hand. Just use some common sense about it. And I didn't show this in here, but I actually have a piece of cardboard underneath the truck, and the primary reason is that you'll always spill a little bit of oil when you pop the plug, and for that matter, even when you take the oil filter on out. So if you put a little cardboard underneath, it captures it, and again, it's environmentally friendly, and you'll have less of a mess to pick up at the end. I think that pretty much covers it. Well, as you can see, there's quite a bit of oil in this crankcase. It's almost filled up that container there. And keep in mind, there's about almost 4 gallons of oil in this thing, so you need to make sure you have a container that can hold all that volume. Okay, I just finished draining the oil, and I'm getting ready to put the oil filter back on, and as well as the drain plug. One of the things that I like to do here is I like to fill up this thing with oil. Last thing you want to have is the engine running to try to fill up the the amount of oil in there, which is about a quart. Actually, probably even more than a quart. So what I like to do is go ahead and actually put some oil in this thing before I go ahead and put it together. And pretty straightforward. Just go ahead and put a little oil in there, and you're ready to go. So just be gentle about it. I'm not going to fill it up completely, but darn close to it, because there's a little bit of a slight angle there. And it actually filters, goes into the filter meter here, so media. You might have to fill it up a couple times. And that should pretty much take care of it. It's good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and take this now and put it on in there. And that'll be it, at least for this part. Okay, the next thing is to take this high pressure oil pump, and I already loosened these nuts here. This is a 1/2 inch deep socket that you'll use. Maybe even regular socket will work. Take this one off, and I don't know if you can see it so well. Yeah, let me bring this camera over here. Yeah. Okay, you can see it right there. Got this plug right here. Take your socket on it, break it loose, and be careful not to lose this. Go ahead and take this on off. And you can do it a number of different ways as far as how to drain this fluid. One particular way is you use a fluid container, or oil container, and then you can go ahead and stick your configuration on in here. And this, by the way, is nothing more than a shampoo bottle that I'm sure your sweetie will have. Just take the pump off of it, stick a hose on the one end, and then pretty much it's straightforward. You just go ahead and pump away. Get all that fluid on out of there. That's about it. So go ahead and put some more fluid on in there, and that's it. Okay, I'm just going to reverse the procedure here now and stick some fluid back on in. You want to put in about the same amount of fluid that you took out. I don't know how this is actually plumbed on in, but I think you can infinitely keep on filling this thing on up. So you want to be careful here that you don't want to overfill it. Essentially, you're going to put too much fluid back on in and then raise the dipstick level up to a point where it's beyond where it should be. I guess you can't really see, but the oil's going in, it's clean. Of course, it's clean, it's brand new. This, of course, is a pin that came from the courtyard, and so it works pretty well as far as a hardline tube to stick in the hole and get it in there and pump it back on in. And it's a good workout for your hand too. And I'll take this on out, cycle the last amount of fluid in there. And that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. So from here, you're just going to go ahead, check the dipstick level, make sure there's no surprises there, plug back on in for your high pressure oil pump, and if you don't do that, you could have a real surprise when you start this on up. At least I've been told that's what you'll get. Fortunately, I've never had it happen to me. Just snug it on up. I just went ahead and filled it up in the well. Did one cycling with a high pressure oil pump that is drain out the fluid, put some fluid on the end. Letting it run for a few minutes, and then I'm going to do a little more time with that high pressure oil pump, drain the fluid on out, and put some back on in.